Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into a real-world case study of platform moderation. We're going to look at the exact mechanics of what happens when unfiltered human expression crashes right into algorithmic bureaucracy. We talk a lot about the tension between free speech and platform rules and these kind of broad, abstract terms, but today we're making it tangible. We are digging into the actual data, the screenshots, and the literal paper trail of a user's account being systematically restricted. If you've ever wanted to understand how modern digital compliance actually works under the hood, you are absolutely in the right place. So let's just dive right into it.
To really set the stage here, take a look at this quote. This is an actual comment left by the user whose case we're studying today. Read it closely. When two occupying forces intersect, we call that a collision. When you want bureaucratic bullshit, you call it an accident. It's incredibly fitting, isn't it? The user is expressing this profound frustration with the rigid, mechanical nature of systems they feel they have zero control over. They're actively calling out bureaucratic bullshit, which essentially foreshadows the massive algorithmic collision they're about to experience with the platform's moderation systems.
Okay, here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First, a digital collision. Second, the triggering comment. Third, the anatomy of a restriction. Fourth, rules and compliance. And finally, the moderation paper trail.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, a digital collision.
So we're starting with the raw human element in a totally standard comment section. A user named Michael is jumping into a thread, expressing a pretty cynical view on how bureaucratic systems function, or rather how they fail to function. There's a real candidness here, right? It's the kind of blunt, everyday conversation people have in physical town squares all the time. But here's the catch. In the digital town square, conversations are monitored by systems that do not understand nuance, sarcasm, or frustration. They only understand program parameters. And Michael? He is about to hit one of those parameters at full speed.
Moving on to Section 2, the triggering comment.
And here is the inciting incident. The user left a comment saying, "Put down the fentanyl, you fucking crackhead." Now, neutrally speaking, this is just an aggressive insult, but look at how the platform system interpreted it. The notification literally says, the comment may buy, sell, promote, or exchange illegal or restricted drugs. Because the user utilized the specific words fentanyl and crackhead, the automated system didn't read it as an insult between two people. The robotic system flagged it immediately as a severe violation of community standards on illicit drug trade. This is the exact moment of the collision. A human insult meets a hyper-literal machine interpretation.
To understand what happens next, we kind of need to define our terms. A moderation strike is an automated or manual action taken by a platform to penalize an account for content that violates its community standards. So the absolute crucial point here is that a strike isn't just a deleted comment. No, it is an escalating mark on your record that triggers a cascade of consequences. When the platform's robotic systems interpreted our users' candid language literally, it didn't just scrub the text, it initiated a massive sequence of forced compliance.
Which brings us to Section 3, anatomy of a restriction.
Just look at the screens presented to the user. The penalty wasn't a simple, "Hey, please don't say that." It was a full-scale lockdown of their digital capabilities. The system flat out states, everything you manage, including all of your profiles, pages, and groups, is restricted. Because the algorithm logged this as a severe drug policy violation, it threw up immediate, unyielding digital walls.
Let's actually break down that timeline of restrictions because it visualizes the sheer scope of this bureaucratic suppression. By May 10th, the user couldn't post or comment. By June 8th, they were banned from starting or joining calls and completely barred from using groups. By July 8th, a full 2 months after the original comment, they still couldn't create live videos or run ads. This is what forced compliance actually looks like. It is the systematic throttling of a user's ability to communicate, participate, and just exist in the digital space, all handed down by an automated system in a fraction of a second.
All right, Section 4, rules and forced compliance. Let's see how this builds directly from the actual rulebook. Here is the detailed community standard on drugs. It explicitly prohibits selling or promoting any highly addictive, non-medical, or psychedelic drug. Now, logically, as humans, we know for a fact the user was not selling fentanyl, they were using it as a derogatory insult. But remember, algorithms are literal. The specific terminology triggered the zero-tolerance policy. The system doesn't pause to ask for context. It just matches keywords to rules and instantly executes the penalty. What's really fascinating here is the stark contrast between what the platform says and what it actually does. On one side, right at the bottom of their own rule page, the platform's stated corporate ideal is literally, Your freedom of expression. We want you to share freely with others. But juxtapose that against the reality of its strict, unyielding enforcement protocols. Zero-tolerance automated removals, total misinterpretation of context, and rolling 2-month account lockouts. The stated value is freedom, right? But the operational reality is intense bureaucratic suppression if you step even an inch out of the algorithmic lines.
And finally, Section 5, the moderation paper trail.
Now you might be wondering, why did one misconstrued comment result in such a massive multi-month lockdown of features? Well, this timeline is exactly why. The system doesn't just look at one isolated comment, it looks at your entire bureaucratic profile. This specific user had a history, a drug violation in February, hateful conduct violations in March and April, and then this new drug flag in May. So the algorithm on May 9th didn't just see one comment, it saw a repeat offender and escalated the penalties to the absolute maximum.
On the back end, this Take Action screen functions as a literal digital rap sheet. Every deleted post, every removed comment, every single manual or automated strike is permanently logged. In this digital bureaucracy, past infractions are never truly forgotten. Every time you type a word, the system is weighing it against this permanent record to decide if you're allowed to keep your voice today.
But honestly, it gets even deeper, and frankly, a whole lot more opaque. Check out these back-end system tags that illustrate how content is categorized completely out of the user's view. These are the attributes assigned by the platform's algorithms. We see tags like treason, misinformation, fraud, manipulate. We even see highly specific tags like BLM or fracking. And perhaps the most revealing tag of all, right down at the bottom, literally the word arbitrary. These tags reveal the bizarre, sweeping, and often entirely hidden algorithmic judgments made behind the scenes to categorize your speech.
So what does this all mean? The absolute crucial point we must take away from this explainer is this. Participating in the modern digital town square is not truly free. It requires forced compliance to incredibly opaque, strictly enforced bureaucratic rules. If you want to speak, you are bound by ironclad corporate rulebooks, monitored by literal algorithms, and categorized by hidden tags that you will probably never see.
I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought to consider the next time you type out a comment online. When unfiltered human expression continually collides with an unyielding algorithmic bureaucracy, who really owns your digital voice? Do you own it, or does the platform leasing you the space own it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the systems you use every single day, and I'll catch you in the next one.